Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the new Dune Imperium Uprising. Now this did come out a few months back. I finally got my hands on it, played it, and wanted to give it a whirl. But I'm also going to be reviewing the new expansion, Bloodlines. So you're going to have to excuse me, my voice sounds a little hoarse. I came down with a little bit of flu-like symptoms last week. A lot of us are getting sick over here. Feel like I got my ass kicked, but we're here with a review. So this is going to be a review of both games. Again, I'm not going to show how to play Uprising. If you want to see how to play Dune Imperium, you could go back to my Dune Imperium review from a few years ago. It shows how to play. They did change some things, but I'm just going to show you what's going to be in the Bloodlines box. And then I'm going to do a review of Uprising, and then also see how Bloodlines plays in. Is it worth getting? And how does the game? How would I rate it with the Bloodlines expansion? Now, I do own the other two expansions. The only one I haven't played is Immortality. But this is just for Bloodlines. So let me show you what's in the box of Bloodlines, and then we're gonna go into the final review. So here's again, we're going right to the table. Show you what's in the box. Okay, so this is everything in the Bloodlines expansion. The Sardaukar warriors, they also come in these large black cubes, but obviously you want to play with the minis instead. So I'm not going to go over the rules of Uprising. Again, the game's been out a while, and I also did a how to play with Dune Imperium. You can always go back to my video if you ever want to see how to play Dune Imperium. And of course, Uprising just adds a little things like the spies and the sandworms that add more to combat. But we're just going to be focusing on the Bloodlines, but I will also be doing my review of Uprising in this video as well. So, again, excuse me, my voice is not, it's a little rough today. We've all been getting sick. So, first thing here is we have some rival cards. This is all for solo mode. Again, I am not a solo player, but you do get some rival cards here and solo cards. You get these two conflict cards also in the game. But what this does here is this allows you to place a spy where somebody else's is, so you can ignore their spies. So these are just the two cards. And then we have here the intrigue cards that are for this character. Again, if you want to play that character, he comes with those cards. But one of the big things here are the Sardaukar warriors, which will be placed on the map in certain locations, and these guys will add 2 to your combat at the end of the round. And now when they are used, they have to go back, and you have to spend another 2 Solari if you ever want to hire them again. But when you do get a Sardaukar warrior, you get to choose one of these tiles with it. And now these give you passive abilities when, and I mean only when, you have one of these guys in combat. There are several here, and we're not going to go over all of them. But yeah, these will be added to with the expansion, and these are for the Sardaukar warriors. They give you these passive abilities when they are used. Then we have here navigation cards. These are also used with a specific character. They give you a little bit of a special ability here. Again, I'm not going to go over everything. And of course, the next big thing are these tech tiles that you can buy. This is placed on the map, and you can buy these tech tiles, again, that give you more special abilities, which I think were really cool. And of course, you have this area right here that it gives you a sandworm. This is for when I believe this character is playing in the game. Again, so let's go over some new characters. We have Duncan Idaho here, I actually used them yesterday. It was really cool. If you really good with combat. If If you're a big combat person, this is definitely a guy to pick. We have the Helen Moham. We have here Kora Odax, the Steersman Irkun. Of course, these are the guys that use these navigation cards right here. Okay, and then we got Esmar Tuik, and that's who is connected with this right here. Of course, you got Chani here, Hasmir Frederick, Peter de Vries. And again, this is who the those plot cards go to this character right here. And then you have Lyat Kynes. So that is the expansion. So now let's go. I'm going to review Uprising and the Bloodlines together. Okay, so this review is going to be a little more different. We're not going to break it down like how I've been doing, because you already know. Again, if you watch my review of Dune Imperium, I gave it a 9.5. So honestly, obviously, that's going to play into what I think about Uprising. So, Uprising. First thing that comes to mind. I didn't think they could make Dune Imperium any better. And, of course, with this packaging right here, they absolutely did. I really like the spies. That does add a lot more, definitely strategy to the game. How you could put those spies there, and pretty much guarantee a spot that you can go there. I really, really enjoy it. I don't think I ever want to go back to regular Dune Imperium ever again. I think I will always play with this one right here. The sandworms add a lot more combat to the game. Really, really like that. I do feel, though, that this game does play a little quicker than regular Dune Imperium. Again, because of the amount of different options there are now, I do think it's a little more difficult to get to the factions. I feel like I didn't see as many faction cards. Well, of course, when you play a card, you send your agent to a destination. I felt like they were a little more rare at this time, but also, for some reason, people noticed it too. The game did play a little bit quicker. And of course, this version does focus more on the combat. The whole rock wall was cool too. So it's a little bit of a challenge to get those sandworms. And of course, them doubling the combat prize. So anytime you win the conflict, when you use a sandworm, it doubles. And again, it has that great catch-up method. The one thing I loved about Dune Imperium is that every single game is going to be tight. Every single game I have played has always been close. Nobody's ever gotten blown out of the water. And that's what I loved about Dune. Again, it's not, it's not an area control game. The combat, it's very, just self-deterministic by the numbers and stuff. Play your intrigue cards. But that's why Dune Imperium was my #1 game for a long time. It's not anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not in my top 10 this time. But still, Dune Imperium Uprising is a fantastic game. They took what made Dune Imperium so great, added more to it, and changed the cards. Again, some of the art was changed a bit, but essentially the game looks the same. It's not really wouldn't call it a looker. It feels like a traditional worker placement Euro game. It has that look to it. Of course, now with the Uprising, they added more characters and stuff, which I do like. So, my rating for Uprising alone is going to be a 9.5 out of 10, just like the original Dune was. Again, no game is perfect. So yeah, I do highly, again, recommend the new Uprising for Dune Imperium. So, yeah, again, I did not think I thought it was unnecessary. I'm like, why are they doing this? Dune Imperium is great enough as it is with those expansions. X was an amazing expansion. I never got to play Immortality. And then when I saw Uprising, I'm like, why? I have all this stuff for Imperium. Like, why would they come out with this? And you know what? I'm glad they did. When I look at the original Dune Imperium now, I don't know. I feel it's a lot more slower. There was a lot more slow build up to it. I feel like this one right out the box, you're in there placing your workers. You know the combat keeps up, especially now with the sandworms coming out. It can be unlocked pretty quickly. You know you got especially when you unlock the hooks, blow up and then you blow up the rock wall. Really adds a lot to the game and made it so much better. Than what it is. So yeah, definitely recommend Uprising. If you're gonna go with Dune Imperium, go straight to this one. Don't go back to the original one. Again, maybe some people might like the slower pace of it, which I do. Again, I think this one felt more faster paced, but just go straight. Don't even bother with the original, and of course get those expansions as well. X, and I know Immortalities was very good as well. So now let's go into Bloodlines. So Bloodlines, the two things that stick out the most, again, yeah, some cards are for a certain faction specifically, but the two things, and of course, you know, I'm not a solo player. I didn't care about the solo cards, but yeah, the Sardaukar and those tech tiles are the two things that stood out the most for me. And then, of course, there was like two cards that that came with two conflict cards. I know one was allows you to place a spy where someone else has a spy, which was pretty cool. But going into the Bloodlines expansion, so again, I really liked X. I think X took Imperium to another level. It made it a 10 out of 10 game. So just talking with Uprising alone, this makes Uprising a 10 out of 10 game. It gives it that extra push. Here's the thing, though. I don't know. I think there was another review I forgot that said that they would not play with the X and Immortality expansion and mix this in. I think you're better off with just playing this by itself. Don't mix it. I mean, you can if you like all the craziness and stuff. If you want to make have a lot more added, go right ahead. But I think this just alone is a very solid expansion. And yes, it does put Uprising to a 10 for me. I really did like the Sardaukar adds to it. I like that you use it. You get that passive ability when you use the Sardaukar. And again, you could have more than one. And of course, it doesn't feel overpowered because you have to rehire it once they're used in combat. So everything still felt balanced out. I do like the tech tiles that came out with it too. Again, adding a little bit more to the game. I do think though, I don't know. Again, I haven't played Immortality to actually say if I would add them all together. The thing is with X alone, I think, and this would be a little too much. Maybe one day I'll try, but for now, I'm not really interested in mixing X and Bloodlines together, because I feel with Bloodlines it just focuses again more on the combat. Not saying X didn't, but X also had those techs. It had the ships that were also added into combat as well. It might be a little too much, I'm comfortable with just the sandworms and the Sardaukar in there. But maybe with regular Dune Imperium, you can mix all three. But with Uprising, I don't think I would, because Uprising already has a lot in the box. And with Bloodlines, you're adding more. Again, that's more combat focused as well. I'm not saying X didn't focus more on combat. It's a weird. It's a little weird the way you put them all together, because the original Dune, again, it didn't have all the sandworms and stuff in it, the spies. So that's why I think you can mix all three together, maybe with the original Dune. But again, I wouldn't go back to the original Dune Imperium. But if I had to rate just Bloodlines alone as an expansion, I'd probably give it. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a great solid expansion. It's one that you should add to your collection if you have Dune Imperium. Again, whether you have the original or Uprising. But I also, like I said before, definitely, I'm not saying ditch the original Imperium, but buy Uprising. It makes the game so much better.
And of course, add Bloodlines to your collection if you want more combat, and of course the tech trees and stuff. And if you're a solo player, I think you'll enjoy it as well. It adds a little bit more to the solo play. And of course, like I said, certain factions have a little bit more complexity to them. Like I said, there was those, I think, Pulveritas, and there was the other one that had those navigation cards. I forgot their name. Excuse me. But yeah, so with the expansion, 10 out of 10 for Uprising. No game's perfect, but Uprising to me is a perfect game. Glad to have it in my collection. Dune Imperium is a masterpiece, and I think it's gonna be around for a long, long time. Especially now with all these expansions, I don't even know where they can go from here. But again, it wouldn't surprise me if another year or two from now there's another expansion for Dune Imperium. It feels like this game just keeps on growing. But that's going to do it for today, guys. If you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the comment section. I answer everybody as quick as I can. Please like and subscribe. This little channel is growing every day. We're getting games sent. I have pretty much every week or so. I haven't been getting to them because of we're all getting sick over here. But yeah, like and subscribe. If I don't make another video before or after Christmas or New Year's, I hope everyone has a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If I don't post by then, but yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you all have a great one.